Great.
Can I say something?
Of course.
If you're pro-choice, why aren't you letting your baby be pro-choice? To grow in life.
Like I said, I don't consider it a baby. I consider it like not alive before a
fetus,
certain.
which means
if
baby.
it,
But you're taking
if
their
it doesn't,
choice
if
to
you cannot
lose.
take it out.
You're taking out their natural choice to live, though. So
Like I said, like you guys are also, you men are also taking the natural choice of so many to live when you. So it's like what?
Wait,
at what
I
point
just
do you draw
want
the
you-
line? You can draw any line arbitrarily. You know, you can draw your line. I draw my line. What's wrong with that?
Let me ask you a question. What do you think was worse? Let's say, and it's not, but let's say abortion was just 100% banned in this country. What do you think is worse? A ban on abortion or the current state of affairs when it comes to forced military conscription in men?
Like I said,
What's worse?
everything
Just say it.
exists in
Tell
a
me it's
context.
worse. No, just
This
tell me
is-
it's worse.
No,
Tell me it's worse. Go
Why?
ahead.
Why are you forcing me to tell you something I don't believe in?
That's what you literally were arguing this.
Do not scream at each other.
I'm saying these two are
Calm down.
different. So you're not answering my like. There's not a single organ we're like forcing you to take out.
Oh, if you get drafted into the military, they shoot your organs. It's like law order. You don't know how to have a choice. They shoot you. What do you think they're shooting? Your hair extensions?
Yeah, maybe.
Calm down.
Yeah.
How about just don't force the men? Like then you can like.
Yeah.
there'd be.
It goes
would
the
have
other
no
way
defense.
around as well.
I know,
Men are
but,
not monsters.
but I still think
Then we
women
would die
should
as a
get.
country, though.
Yeah, I know, and that sucks, and that's why they make them.
How about this? Should women be drafted?
I mean, if they're like able to like fight, I guess. Like, I mean, like, listen, like I'm a little girl. Like I work out, but I don't really think I could do that many push-ups and do as good as a man probably, or the average man. But sure.
Well,
but you
then-
want to be equipped,
Sure, if
the
you wanna.
same as the man. You want the same rights. But when the war breaks out, you want to stand in the kitchen.
No, I'm
Feminist
saying.
until war comes.
Yeah, you
I'm
want to
saying-
be in
I'm
the
saying
kitchen like,
sure.
oh no, I'm tiny.
Sure, if that's
Don't
what
shoot
makes it
me.
even
I
to
think
y'all.
full female units would be an interesting thing because you talk about wartime, right? And a 200-pound man and a 100-pound girl deployed, is she going to be able to drag him?
Who cares?
All female
I will
units.
So should
say
women be able to
maybe.
volunteer for the military and
In-
get the same exact fucking pay as their male counterparts who are putting in more physical work?
In the Netherlands,
Women get paid the
Big
same
Sass
amount of
Energy
money.
donated $200. Brian, if you can, you should have your assistant pull up the Bill Burr cake batter comparison to abortion. It's on YouTube.
I don't know if it's a Netflix will like copyright anything because it's probably a Netflix stand-up, so we can't do it. But Big Sass Energy, I really appreciate that, man.
Either
I mean,
way.
but all of you are probably fine with women volunteering for the
No.
for the military.
No.
Women should be women should be.
in the Netherlands,
Should women
if you
be
are
banned
16,
from volunteering?
I mean, if you want to. I mean, if you want to say like that, you're saying like women should be like have to sign up
Wait.
for the draft and stuff.
No. So currently, women can volunteer to be part of the military.
Can't anyone volunteer?
Well, yeah, men and women can
Yeah.
volunteer. Only men can be forced
Well, then,
through the draft.
then if that, if women are allowed to get abortions and you force the women to also sign up, then sure.
in the Netherlands, when you're 16 years old, men and women, you get a letter at home that you have to go to war if the war breaks out. Men and women. There's no choice. You want to be equal as a woman? Better. You fight as a man then. Shut up.
If they stop, if they
You
stop,
cannot stand in the kitchen and be stupid.
you know,
no, you fight.
If they want to stop complaining about the abortion stuff and you just gotta sign up for the draft, sure. I think women should be allowed to have abortions, though.
Okay. But I'm just a little confused because you said, well, I wouldn't aren't men stronger and like,
Yeah, I mean, don't they
Men would be
disqualify
better.
people for like certain things? Like if you're like
no, they allow women to volunteer.
They lower
They're-
the
they're
standards
different-
for
yeah,
them.
so I guess they
Yeah.
lower the
They
standards.
Yeah,
lower
they
the s-
actually have lower fitness.
But they get paid
test
the
standards.
exact same.
I guess if they get, well, that's not my fault. I'm not 6 feet tall.
Unfair.
I mean, it sucks that I'm not a 6 foot tall, buff, like muscle mommy, but like, I can't change that.
It's just interesting. Women should be allowed to volunteer for the military, and they should be paid just the same as men. But also, men make for better soldiers, but they shouldn't be paid the same.
If they're
And
both
also,
being-
I don't think I should be drafted.
If they're
Weaker
both being
men shouldn't
forced.
be in the draft either. Then
What's that?
weaker men
Yeah.
shouldn't be paid as much either.
And what makes a man weaker? Like when
Well, we're
he's
saying
gay?
that about women,
weaker,
like right now.
labor.
But he's still
can
a
you
man,
straighten
right?
your mic a little bit?
You can like force me to sign up for
But
the
they
draft.
have the
but-
advantage of just being a man.
Yes,
That's-
like you can
so-
force me to sign up if you want, but like it's not my fault. I'm not a 6 foot tall, buff mommy.
I just think, last thing on the whole like child support thing, bringing it back a little bit here, I just think it's crazy that the same arguments, like, for example, let me frame it like this. For those of you who mentioned pay child support, whatever. A guy comes to you and he's like, yeah, I don't want to pay child support, didn't want to have a kid. But hey, with the current state of affairs, so you could say, well, it should be this way. But the current state of affairs is if a guy hooks up with a girl, she has a kid, she decides to keep the kid, she can, and most often will, force him to pay child support through the court system. So we can talk about what should be, what, future down the road, but that's how it is right now. So if a guy were to come to you and like your brother, your male friend, and he's like, man, I hate paying these child supports. I hate paying this child support. It really sucks. What would you say to him?
I would.
Tough. Shouldn't have done that.
No,
Should've
I
kept
have
your
no
legs
reason
closed.
to I don't think that men, I'm not like, yeah, you better pay, buddy. I would comfort my brother if he's upset about something.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would.
But I mean, you can't really offer him anything aside from just what? Like, oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Offer advice, what to do.
So there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah.
He can't escape his responsibility. So you really, the only thing you can say is, you shouldn't have done that.
Well, if I were to give advice, yeah, but there's kind of no point in saying that, it's already done.
Right, but it's interesting. The same arguments if a woman was wanting to get an abortion and we said, well, tough, you shouldn't have done that. You're going to have to deal with the ramifications. Women can always escape. Well, in most states in this country, women can just, look, you can go to a different state, get abortion in a different state. Women can always escape their responsibility when it comes to this topic. Men can never escape their responsibility.
I disagree. That's equivalent.
That's fact, though.
That's a fact.
No, I don't think that paying child support is the same. It's not.
My body, my choice.
Yeah, because it's literally carrying a baby.
No, my body, my choice.
But
what about these men who are going to have for 18 years a lower standard of life? Let's say they have to physically labor. A lot of men are in construction work. What if a man, in an effort to not have his life financially, works an extra 10 hours a week, and then it just further breaks down his body over the 20 years that he's doing some construction job? That's his body.
Like I said before, I wouldn't
You just
make
don't
that
value
rule.
male
I
labor.
wouldn't. Oh my God, I wouldn't make that rule. That's not my.
But that's how it is. So I'm talking
Okay,
about
I disagree
what is.
with it.
If you take away child
She
support, then
disagrees
there's
with the law,
no
that's
there's
what-
no
Yeah, I can disagree with
ramifications.
I don't
I
hold that
mean-
value, so you can't make you can't say that because the law exists that's my logic. It's not my logic. That's the thing.
I'm just saying, man, you're downplaying the serious impact that it could have on a man's life. You don't think there's an impact it could have
How
on
am
a
I
man's life?
downplaying?
Because
You're saying, well, it's the woman has to, carry the child for 9 months.
Well, I'm not saying that about child support. I'm saying that about abortion.
I think what
That's-
you are
I'm
saying
talking
is
about child
if a
support.
woman cannot pay for it, she can abort the child because he will be in a horrible situation. She cannot pay for it. It will be horrible for the child. But if the man cannot pay for it, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So you want to be equal,
I
but only
agree.
for a woman again. That's kind of rude.
No, I agree with you that men shouldn't have to pay child support if they can't afford it.
But can he
Let's
then
assume-
make the decision
But
for
then
her
you're
to lose the
forcing
child? Because
women.
nobody can pay for it then.
Uh,
So are you really pro-life if nobody can pay for the child?
Am I really? Well, I don't understand.
If the
sorry.
man cannot pay for the child, the woman cannot pay for the child, would you keep the child then? Because you're pro-life.
If no one wants to abort the child,
How about this? Let me ask you a question.
adoption.
I think this will make things a little easier. A really rich woman gets pregnant, and her only objection is she just doesn't want to have the kid. Can she get an abortion?
I personally think that that's not a good
Why?
reason, but because I wouldn't do it myself just because I don't want to. Like, I personally...
No, she doesn't feel like she's ready. She's financially fine. She just has a general feeling like she doesn't want to have the kid.
Yeah, I think that the result of that would be
Would you bar women who have that view from getting abortions?
No, I think you should have the right to do that.
Okay, so then a rich man who can afford to pay child support, but he just doesn't want to. Should he be able to escape his duty and responsibility of having to pay child support?
If he has a genuine reason, like the woman
He
is
just
also
doesn't
rich,
want to.
then he can...
Nope, he just
if
doesn't
he
want to.
wants to go to court and
No.
debate it, then that's fine, I think.
What do you mean if he... Okay, but so... You're saying if he wants to go to court and debate it, what should the court do?
The court should just make a just decision and say you have to pay child support or not.
So what should the court do in that situation? Should
This
the
is
court...
literally an imaginary court.
You
because
introduced the
I'm
imaginary
saying I
court.
disagree that men should have to pay child support. So what should the court do? I think you're saying how would they evaluate
No.
whether a man should or should
No,
not?
hold on. Let's rewind. Let's rewind. You said a scenario in which it would be okay for a guy to escape his responsibility of having to pay child support would be if he doesn't have money.
That would be one example, yeah.
Right. Okay. But then I said, well, okay, let's talk about if it's a rich woman. You said that's not justification. That a rich woman who just doesn't want to have a kid, that's not justification for her being allowed to have an abortion. Now we're giving the counter example of a rich man. He can pay child support. He just doesn't think it's fair, and he doesn't want to.
I think he should have the right to go to a courthouse and
But what should
sue
the
I
cour-
think he has the right to sue and say I don't want to pay child support.
No, but that's not how it works. The woman, okay, here's how it would work. The woman wants child support from him. She goes to the court and says, I want child support. Are you following here?
Why would I
Okay.
not?
Can I
be?
say something?
Hold on. Let me try to, oh my God.
Please.
So men don't proactively go to a court and say, I don't want, that never happens.
Yeah, because it's the law, like you said. I'm saying if I made the law, because I fundamentally disagree
Okay,
that men
so
should...
what would be the law?
Okay, the law that would determine, if you should or should not pay child
Yes,
support
what would be the circumstances?
is if it is not feasible for the man to pay it. If it's if the woman doesn't need it, basically, or if the man can't pay it, then you shouldn't go into debt, in my opinion.
Let's assume that the woman does need it.
Okay,
Let's assume the woman needs it and the man is rich. But he just doesn't want, he had a one-night stand with her. He had no intention of having a kid. She decided to keep the baby.
he has the, I think it
But
should-
there's now a kid that exists that conceivably it takes money to take care of a kid. She doesn't have the money.
So what's your question?
Next subject, because this will
Hold
be...
on, I feel
We're
like
going
we're
in
almost
circles.
there.
No,
I feel like we're almost
I
there.
believe...
Trying to
We're
call
almost
out
there.
I believe
the
you're not...
hypocrisy.
I think she has a point.
Hold on. So, what would be, you're the judge, you pass the law. Should the man have to pay child support?
If he's
It
rich,
should
doesn't want
so
to.
as I've said many times, it should default to you pay child support. Otherwise, if you don't want to pay child support, I believe that you should legally be able to, as a man, sue the woman and make your case that you shouldn't have to pay child support. I think it should
Okay,
be
but-
In that
What is,
system,
what-
they would
what is
discriminate
even wrong
against
with what I'm
poor
saying?
people. Only rich men would be able to.
I think what she's
accomplish
saying
that.
that a man should also have a choice in
you guys
whether he
aren't
wants to
making a counterpoint.
paying or
No,
not.
I think what we're getting at here is that in a world where women have the right to an abortion for any reason, men should have a corresponding right
Yeah.
to have a legal paternal surrender where they don't have to pay child support.
Okay, I will actually say that I don't really I don't really feel like I don't genuinely feel like men should have to like pay child support. I don't have strong feelings about that. So I'm gonna say, if that's what it takes for like abortion rights to be legal, like more like, and have a even playing field, I'm fine. Like I will agree that men don't have to pay child support.
Can I say something?
Okay, so you will acknowledge though that that women are able to get abortions, but in every single state in this country, men are forced to pay child support. Do you think that that's wrong? The law as it currently is, not what should be,
yeah.
what is. You think it's wrong that men should pay child support?
Yes, and have no escape from it. Yeah, I think that's wrong.
Okay, all right.
What's like crazy about
Okay,
that?
I'm
Should we like go to her
You know
for
what?
a second?
I'm
She
okay
never
with us
speaks.
moving from the topic because
I'm ready to move. We do
Okay.
have one other note